And welcome into our 6th edition of Nick at Night. I am Nicole Alshouse, joined by Pete Derzis. Now, you all know that Nick Derzis, his younger brother, is running for Hoover mayor. But we get a sneak peek today by listening to some stories, intimate stories from Pete as Nick grew up and you grew up together as well. Now, I want to mention that Pete retired from ESPN. He was Senior Vice President of College Sports Programming and Events. So, quite the leader in your own right. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Nicole. It's good to be with you and good to share some stories on Nick.
So, the most important question, who's the better looking one, you or Nick?
Nick probably wins that because he won't admit it, but I'm the one that taught him how to dress. But no, I'm just kidding. He would recoil at that. But he's got a certain fashion style, and I'm exactly the opposite. But no, Nick's always been a very public-facing person, and very easy to get along with, and usually well-liked in most environments.
So let's talk about you just for 1 second to give it some context, okay? So you retired as Senior Vice President of College Sports Programming and Events. So you've had quite the busy career, also in the professional sector, working with leaders, you a leader yourself. So you understand how important a good leader is.
Right, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why I think Nick's had a tremendous amount of success, as well as the city of Hoover, as it relates to his oversight of the police department. I think the best leaders create the best culture. And I think the Hoover Police has had an incredible culture, and I think has represented the community extremely well. And I think he'll bring that same energy and passion and culture to the administrative side once he becomes the mayor.
And Pete, I know that you and Nick talk a ton about sports. Your profession, you retired from ESPN, we've already addressed that. You started 35 events throughout the country in your career, 16 bowl games. You at home would know the Birmingham Bowl, Veterans Bowl in Montgomery, amongst many others.
Right.
With that said, what have you talked about sports, entertainment for Hoover and the future of Hoover? What would it potentially look like?
Well, we have talked about it. Nick's asked about the maximizing utilization of the incredible facilities. I mean, Hoover's done an incredible job over the last 15 years of investing heavily in their sports complexes, and they're second to none in many ways. Obviously, the SEC baseball tournament's been extraordinarily successful, but you do have a lot of great facilities, and so the question is, how do you effectively monetize those facilities and leverage the great geography we have here in the greater Birmingham area? It's certainly a perfect geographical fit for teams from Tennessee, Georgia, Northwest Florida, Mississippi, to easily roll into Birmingham to participate. So whether it's team sport, participatory sport, collegiate sport, or amateur sport, I think there's a lot of opportunities that are still untapped, that I think Nick's administration will identify some opportunities and go hard after them.
So you think, just looking at it from kind of a bird's eye view, with your experience with ESPN all those years, that there is opportunity for maybe some growth, some economic development, bringing more for the community of Hoover?
I think absolutely. I mean, that old adage, if you build it, they will come. Well, Hoover has effectively built it. Now they've got to obviously spend as much time and effort and proper funding to maximize the usage of those facilities.
And we can't disclose anything right now, but you guys have had conversations about specific things that would really help in the sports arena, in their entertainment arena. So we have to just stay tuned for that.
Please do.
Yeah. And growing up with Nick, how was he just in general as a child? Did you always know he was going to be a strong leader? Did you always sense that about his personality?
Well, we were very competitive. Two siblings. I think about the nightmares when we're in the back seat of the car. It may not have had air conditioning. It certainly didn't have videos, and we're on a 2-day trip to Florida, and it was constant back and forth, and it created a lot of heartache for our parents. But I think Nick demonstrated that. I saw it in high school, certainly at high school, when I think he really developed a lot of these types of initial skills that have carried him career-wise. He was the senior class president at our Washington Lee High School, which is not a small school. It was a large school in Arlington, Virginia. And I kid them because when you walked into the lobby, they had all the portraits of all the senior class presidents. And the way that they lined up, Warren Beatty was the senior class president of our high school, I don't know, 15 years or before Nick, and the way the pictures were, he was sort of lined up, a little close to Nick on the second row. Yeah. But he certainly showed that in sport. He was really an outstanding two-way high school football player on an extremely good team. And if you ever saw the movie Remember the Titans, that was Nick's high school team playing the team that won the state championship. And when we did a deal with the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Birmingham many years ago, we have a football game that we did, and we brought Herman Boone, who was the head coach, down, and Nick and Herman spent some time talking about that game because Herman Boone, who was portrayed by Denzel Washington in that movie, spoke to the players, and they had some great memories about those competitive years. T.C. Williams versus Washington Lee was a big game.
Oh, what a cool story. Thanks for sharing that. Tell me a little bit about Nick as the father, as the husband, because you would see that and witness that more than anyone, really.
Well, I always commented, I had two people in my life. One was one of my former colleagues, a guy named Ralph McBaron, and then my brother. Both had children, and both had gotten divorced. And I think you learn a lot about them in how they handle that in terms of dealing with it. And they were not in state at the time, and Nick made an incredible effort to stay in touch with his children as they grew and had milestone memory points in their young life. And I always really respected his dedication to his children. So I think from that standpoint, really was impressed and saw things. I think as you go through a journey, you see things in people that even though you're with them on a daily basis, it's sort of as a kind of gotcha moment. Hey, that's really cool what he's doing.
And speaking of fatherhood, I know that your father was a colonel.
Yes.
Grew up as military children. What do you think that your father would think now if he could say something or, express anything? What do you think he would think of Nick running for mayor?
Well, I think prior to running for mayor, I think my father would have been extraordinarily proud of the long-term success he had as police chief in Hoover. To want to serve your public, to want to serve your constituency requires a rare person in my mind. And I think my father was a demanding person. He was colonel. He was commandant of the United States Intelligence School. We grew up in a pretty strict environment. And yet at the time, the country was going through a lot of changes in the late 60s and early 70s. So we were sort of in that catch-all time, but he, I think he would be extraordinarily impressed with the way Nick has managed it. And the police officers that I've met and the people that have been on Nick's team have always impressed me. So I know he's hired well, he's promoted well. The people have been really good representatives of the community.
Fantastic. And you had mentioned how competitive you both were.
Yeah.
So is there a story that you can share, or maybe just a memory about how competitive?
Well, the thing is, and times were different. We lived close to the big park. Our elementary school was across the street, and the major park was down the street. And once summer hit and we were out of school, we would get up, eat our cereal, we'd look at the box scores, we'd look at the sports page, and we'd be out the house to go play, whether it was wiffle ball, tennis ball, football, whatever the sport was at the particular time of the year. We were always active, and we were always, it seemed like we were gone from early morning till late at night. They'd call us to come in for dinner. So, from that standpoint, I think that's where part of the competitiveness came from. The neighborhood kids, all different ages. It was different upbringing back then than it is today, where you're having to drive to a park and you're in specified deals with kids of your own age. But we played with all different kids, so I think we had an advantage.
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask this. Who was the most athletic, you or Nick?
I think it was more sport dependent. I would tell you he was a better football player. He played both running back and linebacker, and was really an outstanding high school football player. And I was a baseball player, and much better than he was. I don't think there's, those would be probably the two top sports.
Now, my last question for you, because you are 16 months older than Nick.
Right.
So, did he get away with more as a child? Because my middle child always says, or my older one will always say, well, he gets away with more, and it's a constant battle at my house. So
there's no question. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I took the burden of my strict father, and I softened him up to the point that Nick's kind of skated by on a lot of things. I think I just wore him out. It finally just gave up trying to control him, shall we say? But there's no question the older one always has the burden.
Okay, well, you just solved
No question about it.
the debate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
It's quite welcome, Nicole. We're excited about the opportunity for Nick to serve the people of Hoover.
Yes, well, you yourself in the professional realm, him in the professional realm, you both have been leaders your entire careers, and so it seems like a natural progression.
Well, we're hopeful. I mean, he's done such a fine job of, like I said earlier, building that culture in Hoover, and I think transitioning that entire mindset, that energy level, that passion for the community. I think he'll do a wonderful job as mayor, and I'm sure he'll listen to his constituency and build a great team around him, which is what he's traditionally done in his career.
Well, you heard it right here from the older brother of Nick Derzis, Mr. Pete Derzis.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, nice visiting with you.
And we are now going to go over and catch up with Stephanie Derzis, the wife of Nick Derzis, for an even more behind-the-scenes sneak peek at life with Nick. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And as promised, we are here now with Stephanie Derzis, Nick Derzis' wife, at her design studio right here in Hoover, Alabama. Thanks for taking a few minutes. I know you're busy. You've had clients coming in and going out the door.
But thank you. It's all worth it. I'm good doing this.
So I'm so excited to talk to you, Stephanie, because being the wife of the man who's running for Hoover mayor, what can you tell us about Nick that you think from a wife's viewpoint is important for people to know?
About Nick.
Yes, about Nick.
He is probably one of the most generous, down-to-earth, honest, and just a good person.
Good.
He wants to do the right thing. It's not about him, because if it was about him, he would not be running for mayor. I can assure you on that.
Yes.
I can't say enough good things about him.
Yes.
And I feel so blessed that I can call him my husband.
Yes. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. We can't start an interview crying, Stephanie. So on a lighter note, what are his hobbies? Like, what is the man that has been on the police force for nearly 4 decades? What does he do when he has very little downtime?
Well, he's had very little downtime in his life. I mean, you can look at how much vacation he has.
Yeah.
He's worked his whole life, and if you ask him, he doesn't feel like he's worked a day in his life because he loved doing what he did with the police. But when we do have downtime, and I'm a workaholic too, so us finding downtime, it's challenging.
Yes.
But I would say he loves to go look at cars. On any Saturday, Sunday, you will find us riding through the dealerships, the car lots, Porsche, Mercedes. You name it. We're not buying. He's out just riding. If we're at home, we're watching sports.
Yes.
Or he's looking at the internet.
Yes.
Cars.
Cars. You got to have a hobby.
Yes.
And I got to say, that's much better than a lot of hobbies out there.
We work out a lot at Hoover Rec, so in the afternoons after work, you can find us there.
Yes.
We love to go to the beach. That's our refuge. That is our safe spot. That is our happy place. And that's pretty much us. We're pretty simple.
Yeah. Oh, but simple is not bad at all.
Pretty simple.
So, what do you think, being married to somebody who is running for office, what do you think the qualities that you see that would make him a great mayor?
He's very transparent. He's very honest. He's going to do the right thing whether other people like it or not. And he's going to tell you the truth, and it might make people mad, but he's going to do the right thing.
Leads with integrity.
He is very much so. And probably one of the biggest things I fell in love with was Nick, was him being a leader.
I could see that. I could see that.
He was strong, just strong. He's just strong in everyday life. He makes decisions and he moves on. Like, he's not one that's going to flip back and forth. He makes a decision and we're done and we're moving to the next thing.
Yes, decisive. When you got problems to solve, you get them done. And
which I very much appreciate that.
You've been on this journey since day one. How has this campaign journey been for you?
You know what? It's been a whole lot of fun. I mean, now there are days we'll wake up and go, what are we doing? Really? Because it's so out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
We're not politicians. Nick's certainly in politician material.
Servant's heart.
Very much. And then that is, when he decided to run, that's what he said. He said, Stephanie, I've prayed over this. There's been lots of sleepless nights. I mean, he's leaving where his heart is, And he said, but I feel like God is opening doors for me, and I feel like this is where he's leading us.
Yeah. And you can't fight
Have me say no to that. So, and our whole thing is we're following God's lead for us, that we feel like this is what he's asking us to do. If he's not asking us to do it, then guess what? He will close that door.
Yeah, it's a good point. He always does.
Growing up, my dad always said to me, rejection is God's form of protection.
Yeah.
Because he's got better plans. But, there was a lot of prayer that was put in to do it.
Big decision.
A big, big, big decision. But I can tell you, it has been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
People have invited us into their homes. That says a lot when people invite you into their homes.
Of course. And when you mentioned the word fun, which then makes me think, you got to tell us something quirky or something silly or funny or something about Nick's personality.
So Nick has a very quirky personality. Believe it or not, everyone else sees this side of him that's rough and tough and strong.
Yes.
That's not who he is at home.
Yeah.
He's not. So I think the funniest thing to me is he loves to embarrass Taylor.
Okay.
And growing up, his kids, he loves to embarrass his kids and Taylor. So we'll be in an elevator, and he'll start this little foot dance. And Taylor kind of tries not to look at him, and he keeps doing it until, and he'll be watching outside of his eye, waiting on Taylor, and he'll be dancing. Or he'll be in the bedroom, and I might be sitting in the bed watching TV. Well, he's doing it. And until I acknowledge him, he keeps doing it.
Now, have other people ever been in the elevator when he starts to do his foot dancing?
Oh,
okay.
But it's not going to be a whole lot of people in the elevator.
Okay.
He's got to have room to move those feet. Yeah, but it's not a dance. It's a quirky dance.
Oh,
Maybe one day we can get.
I was going to say, episode 7, you never know what you might ask him to do on set.
It's going to go on.
Okay, so next question, because I have so many for you, Stephanie.
Okay, let's go.
And I know you've got clients, so I won't keep you all day. But how would you describe his value and his value system?
His values come from God.
Yeah.
His values have come from his way he was raised, especially his father.
Colonel.
He was a colonel in the military. Value to me is doing the right thing when the time calls for it.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a hard one.
Well, but he's with having a Colonel as a father.
Yeah.
I mean, the bar is high.
Yes, everything. And I think you can ask anyone who's ever worked for him.
Good point.
There's not much playing around.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're at work, you're there to work. You're not there to play. And if you do things, you do it the right way. Nick cannot stand stupidity. You know, like mistakes that are made that you should have thought your way through them before you went and did something stupid.
So do it right.
He's good with mistakes. Mistakes happen. But when you don't think before you do stuff, or you do things you know you shouldn't be doing them, but you do it anyway, that's Nick.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants people to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Has it been cool to see? He's got such a great support system. Has it been cool for you as wife to kind of see all that? Because you know and love and adore him, but now you're getting to see this whole other side. And has that been neat to witness?
You know, it's very, very heartwarming. In fact, it makes me want to cry because people have been so sweet and so supportive. And I mean, there's been a few, you know, and that's fine. You're going to have that, and we expect that. But 96, 7, 8% of people have just poured their hearts out to us. And the people that have come forward during this, and they have shared to me stories how Nick has changed their lives. I mean, down as far as when he was a beat cop. We have people coming saying how he changed their son's life, their lives, their husband's lives when he was a beat cop.
Yeah.
That's 40 years ago.
Yeah, that still remember.
And that's what I have realized through this is how impactful he really has been in this community and the lives that he has changed. And I think it's just a great role model for other police out there, you know, to say, you know what, police are there to make an impact on society. They're not there to arrest people all the time and to do what they've been labeled in the media as what they're not. Most of them are very tender heart.
Yes.
And they're there to serve and help others. And that's what's been so great for me, is to hear all the wonderful stories that I had no idea existed out there.
Well, it's interesting because him being on the force for nearly 4 decades, you're a business owner in Hoover. You guys clearly love Hoover. You could choose to live anywhere, but you choose to live here, which speaks for itself. What does Nick love about you?
You know, I came here from Mississippi.
Yeah.
So I'm a transplant, but I've been here for, 30 years. And I just love the people here. Like, this is my home.
Yeah.
This is where we've raised our children. You know, I pray one day our kids move back here and our grandkids are here. I love everything about Hoover. Like, there's nothing I don't like about Hoover. I mean, I did open up a store here. I could have gone anywhere else to open it up, but I chose to keep our tax dollars, and my clients are here. And I don't know. I mean, I've never thought about it, to be honest with you.
Yes.
But I would say this is our home, and this is where our friends are.
And I guess to wrap it up, Stephanie, what do you think, the election is August 26th, not very far around the corner. Why do you know in your heart of hearts that Nick is going to be a good mayor and a good steward, a good leader for the city of Hoover?
Well, because I've seen how he leads our family. I've seen how he's led the police department. And I know how he is under pressure.
Good point.
He never changes. I can go back as far as with, some of the stuff that went on at the mall.
Yeah.
And days of some unrest. The man never changed. He leaves stuff at work. He doesn't bring it home. Everything is smooth with Nick. There's never ups and downs. There's never high or lows.
Consistency.
He's consistent. He's never in a bad mood. He is always happy at home. I mean, now I can push him, but it takes a lot for me to push him, and I don't really want to push him. But he's just sweet. Like, he's just a good, nice, pleasant man.
Yeah.
but he's just consistent and always the same.
Yeah, dependable. I would think
He's
would fit in
beyond
there.
dependable. Yeah.
Which which is what a city needs.
Oh,
Dependability, consistency.
Yeah. And I also go back to the Carly Russell. You know, he was just so calm the whole time. He knew what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and he laid out the facts.
Yeah,
And he's very fact driven.
yeah. So doesn't go toward chaos, goes toward
No,
peace.
he doesn't do chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos is not Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Is there something that you wanted to say that I didn't ask you, Stephanie?
Nick's had an interesting life,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope one day that he will find the time to write a book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in fact, I love it when people sit down and talk to Nick and they start asking him, because he's not one to ever tell you all the great things he's done.
Yeah.
You know, he was the handler for Tommy Hilfiger part-time.
Yeah.
So he's gotten to, you know, be around Michael Jackson and have dinner with him and a lot of the stars that,
Yeah.
you know, you wouldn't think about. You know, it's like, wait, you did what? How did you end up there? I mean, he's just had a very interesting life.
Well, and I think really that your point of that is that he can bring such a unique perspective because he has traveled the world. He has met and been around so many people in different roles and different capacities that he's got a very broad sense of business and municipalities and life and relationships.
He has got so many relationships.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have never seen anyone that has relationships that Nick Derzis has. And people, his phone rings constantly, nonstop. That is people calling him for advice.
Yeah.
Or just wanting to catch up. People are always staying in contact with Nick. And I love that about him. In fact, he talks on the phone way more than I do.
Well, speaking of that, my last question then is, whose closet is bigger? Where's your side or Nick's side?
My side is bigger. However, his clothes have migrated to my closet. So he's got his closet, he's got closets upstairs, he's got closets downstairs.
Yeah.
And now he's taken over a fourth, no, he's probably taken up a sixth of my closet.
Okay. So Hoover might have the best dressed mayor.
Oh, for sure. That man loves clothes. He loves clothes.
Okay, well that's
He loves clothes and shoes
and cars
and cars.
and you
Yes. Oh, for sure, me and his family. Yes, for sure, me.
and God.
Absolutely. He's a good man.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's been a pleasure. So fun. It's been fun. You've got clients outside waiting to come in, so we're going to leave it at that. Don't forget, again, the election is August 26th. You heard it obviously from Pete, his brother. Now you got to hear it from Stephanie, his wife. You can't get any more intimate than that. Thank you, and join us for the next Nick at Night. And now I am joined by Nick himself. Well, you don't know, but I got to spend the morning with your brother and your wife to hear really about you.
You're scaring me now.
We got some really good insight. You'll get to see it when it airs with everybody else, of course, but I'm coming to you because it's time for viewer questions.
Let's go. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Jim from Brock's Gap asks, Sir, what are your views on the growth in Hoover? Specifically, your thoughts on new home construction.
Okay. Number one, we do know that many people want to move to Hoover. We know that developers like to build new houses in Hoover because they sell. We've got a great community, so many positive things. But we've also got to take into account that if we're going to have growth, it's got to be sustainable. We've got to make sure that when we start talking about infrastructure, we talk about stormwater issues, we need to make sure that what kind of impact on our roads, what kind of impact on our schools. So there's all sorts of things. And again, we're talking about stuff that could be, couldn't be maybe a problem for 10 or 20 years. So we need to be thinking long term. And when we start talking about those type of costs, those developers probably should certainly share in those costs. We want to make sure that whatever we do, that we enhance the quality of life, that we don't strain it. We want to enhance what people want to live in Hoover for. And we don't want to just build things to build and again start straining resources, because it takes money to have police and fire and all the things that we do.
Very good point. Our next question, this is from Maria, and she lives in a preserve in Hoover. She would like to know, what would you do differently than the current mayor?
Well, number one, I'm going to listen to our citizens here. We're going to find out what they want, and that's what we're going to do. Number two, we're going to make sure that we're not going to fill them up with broken promises. When they have something, we're going to tell them the truth. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to be vivacious. We're going to get out here and react and go after particular things. We're not going to sit down and talk about spin and some of the things that this administration has done.
So more transparency, more proactiveness, more aggressive getting Hoover going.
We got to get it going, and we've talked about the impact that we can make, and again, too many empty storefronts.
Okay, Caleb is our next question. Caleb lives in Inverness. Which initiative are you most excited to implement when you become mayor? End quote.
Well, it's something that that we've kind of announced just to a couple of small audiences, but something that we're going to call Hoover Forever. And when I talk about Hoover Forever, it's going to be talking with graduates of Hoover High School, graduates of Spain Park High School. We've got probably 1,000 students a year that graduate from our schools. We're going to work with the Alumni Association. We're going to partner with the school system. We want to be able to talk and keep up with our graduates that go on to college, some in Alabama, some in other states, some join the military, some join the workforce. We want to make sure that we can communicate with these people. You know, Joe in Atlanta, Hoover High School graduate 15 years ago, may be running a small business there, then all of a sudden he sees some opportunities here and he wants to come back to Hoover. Hoover's not a bad place to live. And again, we know people, and especially young people, want to spread their wings. I think there's so many issues with people that leave the state, they have kids, all of a sudden they don't have those family connections, the grandparents to help babysit, and all of a sudden, you know, going back to Hoover may not be a bad deal. So having that connection with those folks, and again, 1,000 a year, if we go back 10, 15 years, we're going to be reaching 10, 15,000 people. And I'm excited about it, and I think it's something that we can make a connection with. I think it's something that will enhance Hoover High School and Spain Park, because all of a sudden now you've got those alumni that maybe start giving back a few dollars here and there. We've got the opportunity to enhance the city, because some of these people may come back and start businesses, or we want to make sure that we can tell them we've got great paying jobs in Hoover. You may be equipped to move back and take one of them. So we're excited about it. Forever Hoover.
Forever Hoover, I love that.
Yeah.
Last question for you. This is from Jason, who lives in Rossbridge. Quote, Chief, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge you will face as mayor? End quote.
Well, I think there's going to be several. You know, we start talking about infrastructure issues and stormwater, but I really think when we start talking about the biggest challenge is trust in government, to make sure that our citizens feel like when we tell them something, they're getting accurate information. They're getting transparent information, not some sort of spin that I think this administration gives. You know, because we saw last week, we did the Crow report and we had the CPA talking about it. This administration has continually said that report was a good report for the city. I'm telling you, it was not a good report. It was absolutely a bad report. And if you listened to Nick at Nite last week, at the end of that report, you did realize that it was a bad report. So again, enough of the spin, be transparent. We will tell you the truth 100% of the time. We're going to be transparent, and we're going to have great government. Let's get to work.
And last question, because this you weren't there for, but your brother said that you were decent at football. This is not from a viewer, it's from me. I want to know how good you were at football, because he says you were excellent. Is he?
I think he. I don't think he. If he didn't think I was, I don't think he'd say it. That's for sure. So I think I was decent. I was a decent player.
Hold your own.
I could hold my own, absolutely.
Okay, good to know. So if you see him out there in shoulder pads and a helmet,
that may not happen, but years ago, not a problem.
Well, I can't wait to see a picture. Maybe we'll dig one up.
There you go.
Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Of course. Make sure to tune in every single Tuesday. We drop a new Nick at Night right here on Facebook. Share it with your friends. Get the word around, and don't forget to vote on August 26th. We've got Nick Derzis running for Hoover Mayor. Thank you again.
Thank you.